It's fucking cold. I'm fucking cold in this house, yo.
Have you considered wearing a sweater?
I am wearing a sweater, and my hands are freezing. I had to stop my video game because my hands were so cold.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. But it is cold in here, and I might take that blanket in front of me and put it on my lap.
Go on then.
Go on then. No, it's okay. I'll do it at the most inopportune and annoying time.
When we're really in the middle of...
No, you're right. You know, when you're right, you're right.
Which is all the time. Don't cut this out. Leave this in. Editor, leave this in. When I'm right, I'm always right. It's all the time.
All right.
Yeah.
Circle of life is complete.
Welcome to the pod, Simba.
Did you say you have a hot take?
It was going to be to wear another sweater.
Oh. That is literally a hot take.
Look, I got you.
That's a cozy, warm take. Am I right?
Here.
Am I right, ladies?
One for the people.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
That's
See you later. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the Low Ceiling. I'm John.
And
We forget to do that a lot.
Oh my God.
And then I just talk over you
Let
often.
me get through this, you little...
Your name is?
My name is Bree, and I am the talent. Welcome to my podcast.
Yeah, I set up the studio. You bring the talent.
It's true. It's
That's
hard
how
out
it
here.
works. Today, we're talking about The Lion King brackets 2019.
Yo, people hate this movie.
Yes. So
Oh my God.
the other night I was talking about how we watched both The Lion Kings.
Yeah.
To a friend of the pod, M, who was on the Alien Resurrection episode. Go
Shout
back and
out,
listen.
M.
Good one. And M scoffed, and I was like, yes. And I was like, have you seen it? And M was like, no. But I was like, you know what? Your reaction though is like appropriate, and it is almost the unanimous reaction when it comes to this film.
Damn.
And I will say, I think this film's actually pretty good.
Why do people hate it, you think?
That's something I have thought about for a long time since I've seen
2019.
it. Like not really. But it's certainly the last couple weeks that we've been talking about it and we watched it and stuff is do you want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
The original Lion King is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hands down, one of the greatest animated films ever. Probably one of the most influential films on people's lives who are now mostly adults, you know? I would think even my parents would be like, oh yeah, that was like a huge, great film, you know? And they were full-on adults when I saw it. And it's very important to me as a child. Like, it's one of those movies that I never really think about as like, oh, that was such a good film, and it's just like, no, it is just so important to my childhood as a movie. Mm-hmm. It's not about the quality or anything, even though it is a good movie. It's not about it's just about this intangible feeling of this childhood object. And frankly, I saw that movie, and then shortly after, when I turned 5, I saw Citizen Kane, and then I just became just kind of a tastemaker.
And you were just like, where is Nala in this? Yeah,
and no, I was kind of like, you know what? I'm done with cartoons, and I think I'm going to get into the AFI Top 100. And it kind of took off from there. First grade on, I was basically, as I strive to be, the person with the best taste. That's you know what? That's important. It's really important in life.
And you're unstoppable.
But I think that a lot of people feel that way about The Lion King, and they're like, don't fuck with this, please. Basically, and people get a little testy about that. And it is kind of like, because they have such an emotional attachment to the original, they get even more up in arms about the fact that this movie has problems. But me, not an animated film fan, I'm like, The Lion King was hugely important to my childhood. But when I saw this, I was like, this is, I think, really good. It has its limitations, but so did the previous one. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I kind of think this is like a really good version of The Lion King,
Let me hit you with a kind of a silly thought experiment.
Let's break it down. Let's wrap, kids. Yeah.
Let's say we didn't exist as children. I mean, The Lion King didn't exist when we were children.
Yeah.
And the first time people experienced The Lion King is Jon Favreau's version of 2019. So we're removing nostalgia.
Yes.
And we're removing eyebrows from animals.
Yep.
I think the eyebrow thing is legit. Like, it takes away from 2019 Simba a lot. He's just a little fucko. Maybe he's not able to kind of show emotion the way that the cartoon did. They can't express.
They have a hard time expressing. And you know who we can talk more about this, but the person who actually I think this works against is, like, I think Billy Eichner is good in this.
Yeah.
But he's not even touching Nathan Lane's performance. But Nathan Lane's performance is aided by the fact that Timon can act like Jim Carrey as a cartoon, basically. But
my God, of course.
So the original Lion King doesn't exist. Yes.
And it doesn't exist. And if children or adults watch this modern Lion King, do you think it would still get 51% on Rotten Tomatoes?
No, I think this would be seen as a technical achievement.
It's like National Geographic, but fucking with plot.
Like a lot of the criticism people said was like it's a nature documentary with singing and things like that, and that it's too realistic. I think I read David Ehrlich's review, and one of his things was that, like, the original film and its animation style and the Broadway adaptation, which is a very big hit too, they celebrate the artifice of the limitations that they have. The limitations of old style animation and a Broadway adaptation of an animated film are what make it, like, you can, as the viewer or the watcher at a theater, you can fill in those spaces in your imagination, right?
Yeah.
Which is what which is like the effects of, like, all sorts of Disney films dating back to, like, the 1940s and stuff. All that anti-Semitic stuff that he was really into, all that is just
Mr. Disney.
Yeah.
No.
Do you want to pull back the curtain? You and I actually just had to pause because we had to have a fist fight.
Gross. It's because I had a hot take.
It's because I mentioned David Ehrlich's name and you immediately punched me.
I was very incensed by it.
Yeah, you were like, I don't want to hear a goddamn thing that man has to say, certainly about The Lion King. But yeah, like, I want to get into, so what you were saying about the taking away nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's a good point because, like, I think the reaction to this film is very outsized. And I am getting the impression you do too. Is that why you brought it up? Because
totally. Because I watched The Lion King as an adult, so already I don't have the nostalgia like children. And
you're a good test example.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I saw it for the first time this year, the original Lion King, and then
which is crazy.
Well, into my 30s.
You're like from closer to Lion King area than I am.
It's true. My peoples who speak Xhosa on the daily. We're tight. Fucking that, and then followed by this obviously technical marvel that is Favreau Studio.
Yeah.
That produced 2019 version. It's the only thing that is like the big complaint for me is the emotionality of it, because you hear it in the animals' voice. Mm-hmm. So you know they're talking, and if you're going to give them talking and singing, you can give them eyebrows, bro. I keep coming back to this, but like give them a little bit more emotion in their face, and I think that would have solidified the case for better ratings. I
think that is like truly the singular complaint that people have is like you're losing a lot of the emotionality.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, Disney, along with Pixar, very, very, like, we watched the original Lion King.
Yes.
And when the Can You Feel the Love Tonight scene.
Yeah.
And like Nala like lays back and you're just like, I mean, I'd do it with that line. She's pretty hot.
She about
like,
to.
I would get in with that line. I can feel the love tonight with this line.
You were only 5.
But like the Disney is like well known for making like hot princesses.
Yeah.
Like cute little beings. They made a fucking candelabra adorable.
Of
and
course.
like Pixar is like absurd. Everything is like cutesy and beautiful.
Yeah.
This movie, it like gets rid of that cuteness doctrine that Disney has seemed to cling on to. And you're like, wow, man, warthogs are fucking hideous. And like,
I don't want to fuck this lion at all.
yeah, I don't want to fuck this lion.
Sorry.
And she's got Beyonce's voice, as it makes it even worse. But like,
ooh, tricky take.
but also like, and when Mufasa's like, oh, the circle of life, it's you must be good to everything except hyenas. They are absolute cockbags. Do not be good to the hyenas. Son, do not be good to them. But also, they're fucking ugly. They're ugly beasts, man. And you're right that it just ends up being like, yeah, you know, and
a nature docu.
Which then again, it is interesting because like as a kid who grew up with a lot of Disney stuff, I don't know what your youth was like, but I know that you worked in a mine from when you were 8
watched a lot
to
of Oz.
17. yeah, you were watching Oz.
In our
I was watching
downtime.
Citizen Kane. But like as someone who grew up with a lot of Disney cartoons, it is an effect you see in a lot of children. Certainly, like I don't think it's just a millennial thing, but because of like having Disney VHSs and seeing cartoons and seeing the animals and stuff, and then being like, seeing one of those animals in real life and being like, oh man, that shit is nasty, bro.
Yeah, dude.
They're like skinny and like
disgusting.
Lions in real life are the ugliest cats. And,
yeah.
And like in The Lion King, you'd be like, oh, but they're all regal and beautiful. But it's like, no, they're fucking gross, man. And in this movie, they all kind of look like shitty cats. You know?
They look malnutrition, but not because they've are bad at hunting
that's
or whatever.
Scar's fault, though.
That's on Scar.
And isn't Scar just really the Donald Trump of the Pride Lands? Isn't this actually just a political statement?
What? Hot take. What if he's just the best uncle because his nephew was like, I'm going to be king one day?
Because his nephew's a dick. Yeah. His nephew's like, I'm going to boss
happen.
you around. Scar's. I mean, I don't blame him.
Imagine that, uncle. It's like, I would kill that fucking prick. Little shit. Sorry, Simba, you little bitch. You dying.
Oh, yeah. And like Scar's plan is like pretty elaborate. It's like, you don't have to go through all that. Just like crush his little dumb head. He
had the moment.
Yeah.
So many moments.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I think he's misunderstood.
Scar?
I think Scar.
Yeah.
There's a side to him where people are not seeing it. And so that's why everybody has to watch Mufasa now, I guess, to figure out that origin story.
Someone, one reviewer, I won't say David Ehrlich's name so we don't have to fight, but no, one reviewer I read, a different reviewer said that like, because of the lack of emotionality with the animals, the incredible opening sequence, which like, remember I turned on the original Lion King and I was like, you got to at least sit and watch the opening sequence. It's such a banger. The circle of life sequence. Mm-hmm. But like in the new movie, it looks like vaguely authoritarian because like there's you can hardly get the animals to like do like celebratory actions in a way.
Yep.
And when they like hold up the king, it's a little bit like, ugh, that's weird.
Oh my
but
God.
Even then, like there's added dialogue when Mufasa is like, everything you see is yours and you have to rule over it. He's like, I mean, you gotta like take care of it and be nice to it and stuff. Like that's because in the original film, he's just like, it's all yours, son. Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Get out there and fuck those gazelles. Yeah.
No.
Never look a hyena in the face.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What's moving about it really is that William Shakespeare saw Lion King.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm going to go write Hamlet now.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. And he really, I mean, Hamlet, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Hamlet better than the Lion King. I'm just saying.
Damn.
Yeah. What, can I ask you a question?
Hit me.
And I'm going to preamble a little bit. The music in this movie.
Yeah.
So there are a few scores in my life that are like, that truly are like inexplicably some of the most important, and like not inexplicably, but like they just like, they send a little shiver up your spine when you hear it. And one of them is like, and we're doing this because of the Mufasa film that's coming out, which is going to be a certified banger. We can all tell.
People will say nothing negative at all.
I think Blue Ivy Carter got whatever they're doing in that film based completely on merit. But anyway, like, and they have this song, that Hans Zimmer song, in the trailer. And it's always like one of those ones that I'm like, I always brings like back memories. So there's like that for me. There's that song and like basically the entire score of Titanic does that.
Okay.
Are there things like that for you, like music?
Well, I think like Interstellar is the first thing that came to mind.
Interstellar does that to a lot of people.
That's a big one, and it's also and this is like not even like a little bit of a joke, but every track from the musical Chicago.
Really?
Not even kidding. That shit is in my brain, and I fucking hate musicals. So much. And it's not even a hot take. Look, I'm sorry, listeners. Like, y'all know me. Some people love it, some people hate it, and I'm just in that camp. And Lion King, you could do without some of these tunes, some of these daylight sing songs. Like, I'm all right.
I think this film exposes some of the limitations of the songs.
Yeah.
Like, for one, Be Prepared very famously is like cut down because Chiwetel just doesn't seem to want to sing in it. And then also like I Just Can't Wait to Be King is like a little, it's kind of bereft of like feeling and verve,
Definitely,
in comparison to the old one. And then I have to say also Can You Feel the Love Tonight too is like just seems like not well thought out.
No.
And without Nathan Lane's like bombastic like vocal performance, and then also the wild shit he can do is Timon. It's like it undercuts some of it. But a lot of the score itself, and I sent you that track. It's like it's the very last song in the movie where he like finally ascends Pride Rock and stands at the top. It's called Remember. It's a Hans Zimmer score. That song specifically is the one that like always gets me. It's like so. And then there's another one called Memories of Mufasa, I think, where he goes that scene, which I told you in the original is like one of my favorite scenes in cinema. It's not as good in the new one, but the score in that is like that's one of the songs that like gets me every time, basically.
Shit.
Yeah. What about Harry Potter?
Oh, definitely. Oh,
right?
Yeah, it's right up there. Not in a way that it like instills goosebumps in me anymore. I think.
No.
Well,
you've watched those films. Like
I've watched it to death. I did it too much.
Yeah.
But if I hear like a piano solo of it somewhere in the wild, there's still a reaction. So
do you ever listen to scores like on Spotify and stuff?
I don't listen to music
ever. All right.
Sorry, I stay with my thoughts.
You really answered that question.
It was pretty quick, but I think I stopped being able to sit down and listen to songs.
Well, no, I don't do that
or
either.
Instrumentals or music, unless there's.
Well,
like
I don't do that.
other.
I don't do that either.
Okay,
but like, I do listen to a lot of music, and I listen to a lot of scores and stuff. And like,
but you can call it out, right? Like you have the ability to pair that tune to a scene or a movie, or like you marry that pretty well.
I listen to a lot of scores, so like I'm pretty well.
You made me a mixtape.
I made you a mixtape of good score songs, but like and that's just the lamest thing. Come on,
Love
babe.
is real.
It's 2024. It's a playlist. I made you a playlist.
Sorry, you're
and it's good to know you never listen to it.
Yes, I do. I just don't know who's doing it.
Yeah, like I do think like music is like a really big part of lots of like most like really great films to me.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I don't like The Departed doesn't have a score, and it's my favorite movie.
Oh, I thought of one.
What?
Just now, Little Miss Sunshine. Oh.
That has a score. Isn't that by Sufjan Stevens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like
I can't
independent
even think of
it
that.
Of the movie? Is it? I think he did it for the movie. I think
he did it for the movie.
Chicago.
Because he did the score for Call Me by Your Name as well.
Oh damn.
Yeah. But like no, Chicago is a song independent of Little Miss Sunshine though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right,
so,
right.
But whatever. If that song reminds you of the film. But yeah, like I don't know this movie has that like effect on me where it's like, oh shit, like this song is a fucking
That's
banger.
beautiful.
It's the same when like the first opening moments of Titanic, I just get like emotional because of the yeah. And it's the same with the there's this like movement in the song The Battle from Gladiator, which is in the first scene, which like really, really gets me every time. And it's like, it's good stuff. Yeah.
But you can imagine like if someone now takes it and makes a reverse Titanic version that's fully animated with eyebrows on the ship.
I wish Guillermo Del Toro would do a stop motion animation version of Titanic.
That would be cool. Yeah. Stop motion's still cool, but if they did like a Lion King take, it whatever ruins your nostalgia is too powerful to instill anything positive to say.
Well,
about
that's kind of what I was getting at earlier, was like, for me, I actually don't feel like, though I love The Lion King.
Yeah.
But when I saw this movie, I was like, no, that was a good movie.
It was a separate
I
experience.
don't feel very nostalgic for it. Like, I
Nice.
don't, and I don't get that. Like, I don't really understand when people they remake movies or they something like that, when people get like, oh, but you'll never beat the original.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no shit. But also, when people get really up in arms about it, they're in denial about how film works, and it's like, well, obviously they would try to do this, so why?
Totally.
And when you said when we were watching the original Lion King, you were like, why did it take so long? And I was like, well, it would be pointless to do this movie when they were just had like normal animation or even Pixar style animation. But the technical achievement of this film is actually fucking incredible.
Oh yeah.
And I want to talk. Do you want to know about how this film was made?
Yeah.
But because of that, it's like, no, that's what makes sense. That's why 27 years later, this movie makes sense to make. Is because the technical hurdles that they would have to accomplish is just so interesting. Yeah, when people get like kind of protective of that kind of stuff, I'm just like, maybe I'm like not disillusioned, but like kind of used to it because of the time we live in, where they're just like, we're gonna remake fucking everything, and
oh my god,
I don't care. Like, it's not that they're gonna be like, you can never watch the old movie now, because you can.
Yeah,
you can watch them both on Disney Plus right now.
Independent experience. Yeah, of course.
And if you never want to acknowledge the 2019 Lion King, don't. You know.
Oh my god. But then what will people have to say on RottenTomatoes.com if they don't have a page to vent at?
What will people say on Rotten Tomatoes?
Take that away.
I did not like this.
Sorry, Mark Kermode, with your fucking toilet names.
Mr. Mark Rotten Tomatoes Kermode. That's your fucking name, bro. Yeah, and like, you're a good example because you don't have the nostalgia factor for this film either. And you liked it. Like, did you like this movie?
I liked them both independently. I didn't even like think for a moment that it was, but I understand the like rage that they would have felt of oh my god, they didn't make Nala hard enough or whatever. Like,
that's really the only problem. Like, that is like,
I don't even want to fuck this lion anymore, man.
Like, especially, you know, I get it. Like, say you're an adult and you have kids. Like, we don't have kids, but you know, you gotta you have to take your young child to a cartoon film that maybe no, you don't want to see it. Maybe you want to go see Gladiator 2, starring Paul Mescal and his fucking abs, and you want to slobber all over Pedro Pascal and his beautiful face. Maybe you're an adult and you want to do that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go to a kids movie, at least there should be something in the kids movie that you're like, I could fuck that.
I can't believe that's where that was leading up to.
And in the original Lion King,
True.
It's Nala. And in this one, it's got it. I mean, by default, it's Pumbaa. Well, even though he's a hairy, disgusting beast.
It's his laugh. It's so distinct.
Yeah. And, okay, speaking of Nala, though, something I really did think about. And you know how much I love Beyonce.
You're passionate about it.
I could not stop singing her praises, so to speak. As we watched this movie, I was like, Beyonce, so great, amazing, incredible career, talented.
Underrated.
So underrated, really. Underappreciated by the greater music. And all of that stuff is so very true that I said about Beyonce. And I would never say anything the opposite, for example.
That's right. Not on this pod.
Beyonce has limitations as a performer in films. Not as a singer. I would never say that. She's amazing. She's incredible. She's never done anything wrong. I was thinking that Moira Kelly, who does the voice of Nala in the Nala the hot one.
In the hot one.
In The Lion King. Like, Moira Kelly she's in our beloved One Tree Hill, right?
Yeah, I fucking love her. She's
she has a really wonderful voice and a very like, I was like, it's just a more notable, interesting performance from a voice actor in that. And I read like a Vox article where two film critics were basically like, which one does what thing better? And I thought that was a better review of the film, because it's like, at least you're honest that The Lion King 2019 does some things really fucking well. Yeah. And it does. It truly does. Yeah. And not adding 30 minutes to the runtime, that's certainly not one of them. But
man. Okay, look. Great point about the comparing of the voices from that movie to the less hot movie, which is now. One of the things is if you bring in a voice actor who is too big a name,
it distracts you.
It distracts you the whole time.
Especially because, like you said, the lions can't emote very well.
No.
So another reviewer, they were like, when you hear Beyonce, all you see is Beyonce sitting in a studio reading lines.
Exactly.
And I think Gambino is doing the best he can, but he's still not quite hitting the mark. It's really only Rogan and
Billy Eichner
who are like refreshing to hear.
Definitely.
And Rogan has the best, in fact, the only good joke in this film. And yeah.
Is it about the stars being balls of gas?
No, that joke is better in the original film.
Yeah.
But in this one, when he's like, oh yeah, these grubs are local. Yeah, they're from right here.
Locally
sourced. That actually, when I saw that in theaters, like no one laughed at that, and I really found it fucking really funny.
Was there one loud like ha?
Yeah, there was like one loud guffaw. There's a lot of children in that theater, but you know what? That's fine.
They don't understand humor or hotness.
They don't understand anything. They don't even know what a lion is.
No.
Well, now those kids do specifically.
Now they're gonna be like, "Where are the eyebrows?" And the cartoon version. Why are they acting funny?
Do you want to learn a little more about how this movie was made?
Yeah,
because it is it's fascinating. I want to preface this by saying, like, I am not a film guy. I'm not a cinematographer. I did my best to try and understand how they did this. It's truly like, man, Jon Favreau, he made like Chef. And then you're like, he made this incredible technical problem solving thing. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's so crazy. You know, Jon Favreau's a great filmmaker, but like when you think of the comparison between, he'll like do shit. He made the Iron Mans, which are huge films. And then he makes something like Chef, which is like very straightforward. And then he's also like pushing forward this technology that oftentimes we only kind of think like, only Nolan and fucking such and such do this, but it's like, no, Jon Favreau, Chef himself does this. So the way they explained it was they built an entire digital Serengeti in the Unity game engine, which is like, okay, that makes sense. That's totally fine. But the focus was that they wanted to marry traditional film techniques with digital creations, which is why, shockingly, they hired Caleb Deschanel to do the cinematographer. Okay. Caleb Deschanel is Zooey Deschanel's father, also a very, very respected and well-known cinematographer. Shit. Yes. But he's old. He's like in his 70s or something. And he said it's very funny sometimes when you're like, as a job seeker, when people are like, I don't know if you can do this job. And Caleb Deschanel was like, I didn't know what I was doing. He's like, I know how to use a camera. I don't know what the fuck. He's like, I had to learn from the ground up. And he said, he's like, when I got to the end, I wished I could go back and reshoot all of the stuff with all of the lessons I learned, because it would have been way better. But anyway, so, and all of this is from, I guess I should cite, it's from like the TechCrunch blog or something that I read this in. And basically, so they build this Serengeti, this digital Serengeti, and one of the, I think it was the CGI supervisor, like the head of computer graphics, he said, okay, Avatar. What Avatar did, which was so revolutionary at the time, was that they solved this problem of being able to show the CGI in the monitor while you're watching it. So the cinematographer can watch on the screen with the CGI and the actors all kind of melded together. Mm-hmm. But you're watching on a screen, right? And he was like, on this movie, we're putting the cinematographer inside the 3D environment.
Damn.
So you're like, so it's like making a film on a monitor, on a screen, versus in a 3D goggle environment, like a VR headset. Oh. So there's all these pictures of them sitting around with VR headsets, just being able to look around, right?
That is sick.
And but also like they use traditional camera movements like dollies and things like that could move through the virtual Serengeti to get the shots that they needed. Another thing too, which is like, might have been, I don't know the extent of it, but might have been more controversial now than it was in 2019. But they were like, we used AI to infuse the animals with their own unique personality wherever they were on screen. Yeah. So that they could kind of like, and it's obviously not close to the AI stuff we have today, but I'm sure there's a version of it we're in film that could be used. But it's like they could you could tell the animal to be hungry or to be cold or to be warm and stuff. And they would eventually like create their own personality and then they could put them in the scene. Ultimately, the 3D environment was much less detailed. And so it was like they created this baseline, they created the shots, and they created the characters moving through the shots. And then the CGI people would just like create a whole other level of detail on top of it.
Damn.
It's actually like such a fascinating way to make a movie.
Oh my god.
But it was like Favreau said, he was like the guy who went to interview him was like, there's no set on here, there's no actors, there's no environment, there's just people sitting around in a room kind of.
Yeah.
And that's how they ended up making the film.
It's like a video game. Making a video
it's
game.
a highly detailed video game, yes.
Yeah.
But it is basically a video game because like when you think of playing a video game, it's like with a film, when you're watching the screen, it's like really the only thing that matters that exists is what's on screen and what's happening, right? And in a video game, say you're playing a first-person game or whatever, it's like the whole universe kind of exists in a completely three-dimensional area around you, right? Because like when you walk past a thing in a video game, it still exists there.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it is more akin to a video game than it is a film. But then eventually you do watch it on a two-dimensional medium or with 3D glasses, which I saw it in, which, as I said, it basically peeled my eyes back off my head. It was so in the theater, this movie looks amazing.
Damn.
Yeah.
And so despite all that, which people are suckers for kind of newer technology or like how it makes you feel in the cinemas, they let their hatred of getting nostalgia stolen away supersede
but
the enjoyment of this movie.
Most people aren't interested in what I just explained.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Most people are just like, I want to go be entertained.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, that's a really proletariat shit. No, I'm just kidding. Like that's totally fine. And I understand, especially what I think is that not one of the issues, if you were going to do this technical marvel, why would you I feel like they miscalculated by doing it on a piece of mass market appeal. Like, why don't you do it in like a I don't know, like something that's less going to be seen by a billion people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't think of an example, but like
I don't know. Literally any other.
It feels wasted on something like this.
Right.
Even though I think this movie is good.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know.
I guess the other kind of Disney films already got their live action or like human element or reality coverage, like,
but they a bunch of them got live action remakes. But it is really fascinating about this movie that they went a completely different direction. Yeah, and like I keep harping on about it, but it does look incredible. The detail of everything is fucking wild.
The 3D experience of that opening scene must have been
the
incredible.
3D. This is the only movie I've ever seen where I was like, 3D was a great choice for this.
Damn.
Like it was truly like it knocked your fucking hair off. It was so interesting. But you know, like half the theater was fucking little children.
Yeah,
and they don't give a shit about any of that.
No, because they don't have a concept of 1994 or 1996. Like they don't.
Yeah.
This is the first thing they've ever seen.
But also like to adults or to even people who are like tertiarily interested in film, the movie, if you can't muster nostalgia for it, if you can't muster any sort of enjoyment for the new form that it's in, it just comes across as like a 2-hour tech demo of something that the other problem is like, okay, what are you going to do with it? Like what next are you going to make?
Yeah.
You know, like if you did a movie with like people, the glaring question would be like, why would you need to do this without actors? And then the dangers of it having this like uncanny valley feeling. I mean, look at a lot of Zemeckis' work, though it's many years ago, but I don't know.
Like I keep thinking of Jacob from Twilight.
Why?
But and they tried to show like a dog and the movement and the mouth and everything, but I think that was motion. Like, I think he was in a suit.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like, okay, never mind.
Think
that's not.
It's, like in this movie, it was like No one did any motion capture. Although there is one non-CGI shot in this film. And it's the very first shot of the sun coming up. Although clearly the sun in the sky is CGI'd. But the first shot is actually shot on location. Of the trees and the sunlight and stuff, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's it. Everything else is made in... And which is why, for years, when people called this fucking thing the live-action Lion King, it made me want to drill my own eyes out.
Oh, my God.
It's so annoying. Like, it's like a bunch of... But that's also, like, it's indicative of the people who are like the mass market appeal of the film is like most people are just like, I don't know, they fucking got lions to dance. It's like, no, they didn't. They didn't do that. But also I get it because people just want to go there and be entertained. They're not interested in the fact that it's like, no, everything's computer generated. They're just like, oh, just fucking show me the circle of life. See if I want to nail the lion. I don't care. You know,
just call it CG Lion King, okay?
Yeah,
it's GIF.
Oh, tell me when it's porn.
I know. Good God, call us when Nala's hot again. Because until then, fucking, I'm over it, man. Damn. Did you, as a child, have surprising feelings when you saw this movie?
No.
Oh, not for Lion King.
No.
Do you remember any animation ever doing that for you?
Like an animated crush on a person?
Yeah. Or a fucking candelabra because she got curves.
Meg from Hercules.
You know what? I don't think of...
It's more about Meg's...
Oh, I know Meg.
It's more about Meg's attitude than it is about her beauty. But
yeah.
Also, I just really... That's like one of my favorite Disney films.
That's like human adjacent. Would you say...
She is human.
She's human.
Yeah.
Would you say there's ever an inanimate object or like a brought to life animal creature that you're like, oh, hear me out?
That I just wanted just to slam? No.
Damn. You're 5. You're not slamming anything. Good God.
No.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, there's lots of adorable inanimate objects and animals in the Disney universe, but none that are like...
Yeah, fair enough.
It is... I should go back and watch some of those old ones and be like, it's funny that they made this thing hot, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like kind of like a... But, you know, you get a bunch of animators together who are all mostly dudes back in the 90s who are just like... Yeah.
I'm thinking of the carpet from Aladdin. He drives hot.
That's just because you have a fetish for being wrapped up and tightly in
cozy time, good night.
Cozy carpet.
Man. It's a bad animal to transport. It just does it all.
You didn't find... What about the genie?
Genie is still human adjacent, I think.
Yeah.
Has a face and eyes and all that stuff.
Yeah, true.
Like I'd say like, you know, from the movie Cars.
Can I just guess?
Yes.
Was it one of the cars?
But it was one of the dirty ones. The big brown one that's got like 2 teeth.
I've never seen Cars.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay. No, but like just the image of like fucking Owen Wilson car. I don't know. I'm assuming it's his voice. I'm not sure, but
filthy.
Just a little
I love a dirty car.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 5 Disney characters you want to bone. Go.
I got 2 out of the way right there.
Yeah.
The Beast, although that is probably human from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, he's hot.
He's a hottie.
Yeah. And he's like shaped like the Rock.
Yeah, dude.
You know. Yeah.
I want to say Shrek because he's got a personality.
Not Disney, but yeah, I see where you're coming from.
And I want to have like childlike innocence and a close friendship, not sexual, with the gingerbread man from Shrek.
Yeah, he's very cute.
He's cute.
Yeah.
He's just like my buttons. It's like me too, bro.
God, I just haven't seen a Disney movie in so long. Like, this is the first time we're watching an animated film willingly in a long time.
Have you seen Shark Tale, the Will Smith joint?
No.
All the sharks in that.
That's
fuck all of them.
Isn't that DreamWorks as well?
Probably. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I thought Shark Tale was a Jack Black film.
No. Maybe he's one of the characters, but it's Will Smith as the main guy.
Here's my guess. I'm not going to look it up. I don't live that way. Finding Nemo comes out. They have 3 very funny sharks in it.
Yeah.
And then does DreamWorks make a rival thing with Shark Tale, or is Shark Tale a story of the sharks in Finding Nemo?
No. The Jack Black thing you're thinking of is Shark Tale. He's in it, just not the main guy.
Is it DreamWorks?
It is. Yes, it is.
Okay, so it was like in response to Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
This is, you know what's wild about this conversation is like, I think there's lots of adults who talk about this regularly. Like this.
It's the same self-help group that talks about when Avatar stopped existing.
Yeah,
and
there's like a bunch of Disney adults who are like, no, that was in Finding Nemo 7. It wasn't in fucking Shark Tale. Shark Tale, we don't mention DreamWorks properties in this group, okay? God, what time are you guys going to Disneyland tomorrow?
I'm just saying, even Scorsese had a part in Shark Tale.
Yeah, as Sharkscasey.
As Sykes. Robert De Niro, damn. Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie is like a voice where you'd be like, who was that? And
Yeah,
then you'd
true.
be like, Angelina. It's like, oh
yeah, that makes sense.
that makes sense, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't recognize that.
No. Even Renee Zellweger, who's like, her whole thing is like, she sucked on a lemon candy. Like, that's her
Renee
face.
Zellweger is a face actress, man.
Yeah,
like
dude.
I love her and respect her, but she's a face.
She needs...
So is Jolie though.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, putting them on radio, a crime. Show us their face.
It's funny because like going back to Moira Kelly, it's kind of the opposite. Moira Kelly, beautiful woman, but she looks like just like a normal lady. She looks like a mom at she looks like a basketball mom, which she plays in fucking One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
But then when you hear her voice separated, I was like, oh shit, that's her from One Tree Hill. That's why, and like she's got a great sexy bonerific voice, and I want to bone that lion. It's just
Baby John, no.
But then it's the same with Broderick, who is the original Simba.
Yeah, dude.
It's kind of like, oh yeah, Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, which like who thought, man? Or was he just always just a huge name? I mean, I've only seen him in like three films.
Ferris Bueller came out in the 80s, so he would have been up and coming. Certainly, he would have been very established, right?
Yeah,
but yeah. Like, and he's got a good voice. He's a voice performer. Yeah.
In the new movie, it took me maybe I didn't even guess it. You had to tell me eventually who Mufasa was voiced by.
Well, it's the same. It's James Earl Jones.
Scar
is the one you have trouble with. Yeah. That one's hard though.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons was very iconic as Scar, and then Chiwetel plays a lot of Americans, so that's kind of a problem too.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then like I was trying to quiz you on the other fucking, like basically like there's like Keegan-Michael Key and Eric Andre.
That's right. I didn't even guess those. I couldn't even.
All of the cast of people who were in Black Panther, you were like, I got that one.
I got that shit like 1 second in.
You know what voice performance I actually don't like, unfortunately, is the new Rafiki, who was in
you don't
Black
like the
Panther.
Black Panther guy. Yeah.
The previous, I think it was different. I'm sorry, I apologize.
It was different.
Yeah. The original Rafiki, just because of that scene that I've mentioned where he sees Mufasa in the pool, I find that like so emotionally moving.
Yeah.
It's like ingrained in my memory that like this Rafiki and his voice is so much, it's like so important to that scene. Mm-hmm. That like I'll give you, when James Earl Jones died, that was the scene I watched, was the scene where he appears in the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Darth Vader. Like that's how iconic that scene is to me. Yeah.
Imagine like that feeling of that disappointment or like that disconnect that you felt, but it's stretched out for the entirety of the film.
But and like I don't feel that way. Like
I know.
Yeah.
But I understand like that is what most people would have felt when they gave it a 50% rating.
But
we're like, we're so bummed.
But you know what though? Like I saw this when I was 29. I got other shit to worry about, man. I don't care if this isn't like I was 29 years old. I saw this movie on like a Tuesday, so I paid like $8 for my ticket. It's not like I was like, wow, what a fucking 2 hours I'll never get back. It's like, well, motherfucker, so what? Like
exactly.
It baffles my mind. It was, remember all of that like weird racist controversy about the Little Mermaid?
Oh my
god.
Where
like,
oh fuck, of
all
course.
of that stuff. Aside from all of the racism, that was basically what it was. It was like so wild that there was like all these adults being like, I'm very upset about the Little Mermaid. And it's like, you're a fucking loser. Like, get your life, man. It's totally cool for adults to be like, hey man, Pixar's cool and stuff. But when they get up in arms about this shit, it's just like, bro, fucking who cares?
Dude.
It doesn't matter. Because again, the old movie's not going anywhere. The kind of like never-ending grind of capitalist entertainment is just going to move forward, and that's okay, you know.
You want to talk about the plot? Just kidding.
No,
who doesn't know the plot?
Yeah, that is one of the benefits of doing this film.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say, when we saw Real Pain the other night,
that's right.
Which is cool, and we saw trailers. We saw a trailer for Nosferatu. Still looks like the best movie of the year. And Nosferatu 2, the Bob Dylan film.
Nosfolia do. Oh boy.
Everybody wants you to be a vampire, and I say, hey, I don't want to be what you tell me to be. I'm gonna eat the world. Timothy, do a good job.
That movie, I would watch the shit out of. I will watch that film.
I mean, what's his face already made a movie like it, but there is. It would be cool to be like Bob Dylan is a vampire and he's lived forever, and he just like, but he's like, I mean, yeah, I've been a vampire this whole time. What do you want me to do? Is sing about it? I've written 60 songs about being a vampire, and nobody's ever told me, hey Bob, what's this song about? And then we saw the trailer for Mufasa.
That's right.
Which is coming out at Christmas. And like for the first time, I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll go see it.
I think so too. Now that I've seen these back to back, I'm like, maybe we should go check out Mufasa.
Maybe as a fan, like I will. And like it looks worse than this movie, weirdly, but also it doesn't look bad. Like if this is the way they're going to pursue the Lion King story, I'm like, that's fine. Like they're never going to go back to whatever. So I don't know.
You said there's more movies of the Lion King spinoff, right?
Oh, there was like 4 sequels to the original Lion King, all cartoons, all straight to video, I believe, except for maybe Lion King 2.
Is it also all just about Simba? Do you know?
No, I mean, I think Lion King 2 is like about I think Lion King 2 is basically Lion King 1, except Simba is the dad, but he doesn't die.
Okay.
And the kid is like the next thing. I don't fucking know.
Okay.
And then there's Lion King 2.5. There's like a Timon and Pumbaa film,
right,
which might be Lion King 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a bunch that were like direct to video. I don't know if people remember in the 90s, like I think Disney made a fucking fortune off of like direct to video sequels of films that no one really acknowledges.
Mm-mm.
And so Lion King 1, we spent a bunch of money on it. We made $1 billion. Now we have all the assets. Let's like spend way less and try to make like more. And they did. Like, yeah. It was a big thing.
Shit.
Yeah.
Is Mufasa a Favreau joint?
No, Barry Jenkins we talked about. Yeah.
Oh shit. Right. Right.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, like Barry Jenkins is a great director too, but like I don't know what the deal. I know it's a prequel, but also apparently also a sequel, so I don't really have any idea what that means. Because I know Beyonce is in it as well.
What? So maybe as a forward flashback, flash forward.
I think it's like you have what happened before, and then they probably flash forward to after or something. But who cares?
And it's gonna be the whole time is that Mufasa, you tramp. Out here ruining my boy Scar's legacy.
Yeah. It's going to like make you feel bad for Scar because he was bullied as a child or some shit.
So he should be allowed to kill a baby as retribution.
And frankly, he should. Like, I think that's
Can't believe he didn't.
Yeah.
Missed
opportunity.
Missed it.
Much like this film. Anyway, thank you for listening. I don't know if it was. I liked it. It's fun.
I liked it. I
like it.
I don't understand the outsized hate. I don't understand the very low rating. 51%.
I understand the low rating, but I don't understand when people are kind of like, fuck that shit. It's like very like, what? It's so the same that it's like,
of course.
I don't know, it's just whatever.
They could have got the Polar Express.
Think about that.
Think about that animation.
Think about that tonight when you're lying awake.
Gaze into those eyes.
You know, when you're like, I can't sleep because of the state of the world. Think about the Polar Express.
Hell yeah.
Feel even worse. Thank you for listening. It's been The Low Ceiling. I'm John.
I'm free. Bye. I think you're going to join along and sing.
Bye.